Morning. Nice day for fishing, ain't it?
Contemplate.
If I want to cry out to you, would you let me? 'Cause this heart is heavy. I'm afraid of the things you'll say. Would you condemn me? 'Cause I just need a shoulder. I don't wanna run in circles. 'Cause I know I'm not innocent. It hurts to keep it all internal, but I know I'm not finished yet. So I don't want to rush. Won't let this moment pass away, because you've got my heart undone. So I'm living for today, living for today. Because you've got my heart undone. So I'm living for today, living for today.
What's up, chat? Hello. I know it's been a while since we've done a stream. It's been over a week, to be honest. But we're here. We have 2 Overwatch VOD reviews to get through. So we're gonna give those a look. See. Alright, first game is a Plat 5 Bat player. Low gold to low plat. I think we've VOD reviewed him before, but he kind of went on a year hiatus. And he's back, and he's trying to get back into it and see what he can do better. So, I felt like in this game, I felt like there wasn't too much more I could do. Outkilled all my team but one, outhealed the lobby, and outlived my team. However, please note that I haven't played Overwatch 2 for about a year until this point, so that will be a root cause of the windows being primarily terrible and the aim being below average. Alright. And so we're looking at Zooxi today.
An American cowhand. Has this dimension shifted timescales?
What's up, Zooxi?
That's right, big man. It's the 1880s all over again.
Remarkable. How far are we from Bonn? I'd like to meet Heinrich Hertz.
No nonsense. We do this clean. Copy?
Actuating the barrier.
Qu'est-ce qu'on y est?
Four, three, two, one.
Alright, so you have a Kiriko and a Sigma on your team. So, as well as a Sojourn Cassidy. In terms of pocketing, there's not much pocketing happening, which is a little upsetting. I'd probably rather see some pocketing here because we have 2 hit scans. But I guess you're going to be primarily in charge of keeping Sigma up. Kiri's going to be in charge of keeping these squishies up and or flanking. So we'll see how exactly we prioritize this.
Attackers incoming.
Get ready.
Defend objective A.
Sniper, don't
Ah,
let
oui,
go.
pour commencer. A little medicine goes a long way.
Area denial.
So yeah, by now we should know that they have 2 snipers, and so we do have to be using our cover to our advantage. Looks like you're doing pretty well with the cover stuff, so that's good. So let's just continue. Good shoot heals. Looks like you're getting kind of angled off here from the Widow. And jumping up like that is actually going to be the easiest way for you to get headshot. So instead of you jumping up like that, it probably would have been better to fall down. This is a little bit of better positioning just because of the cover that you're going to have. The issue here isn't necessarily, I mean, yes, you kind of positioned yourself to open space. This kind of pulled you, so you had to be playing in this position. A better position probably would have been standing here, because you have this natural cover to hide behind. No hook shots, no Widow threatening you. The only person that might be threatening you would be the Hanzo. But you could also go back, grab this Mega real quick before you come back and peek out. Hanzo, I don't believe, can one-shot with a headshot. And so, yeah, instead of you playing where you are playing right here, I would have just rather you rotate over into this little hubby over here. I think this is going to provide a lot more value on healing your team, and I think overall it's going to be just beneficial for you.
The fight is imminent. Barrier is nearly spent.
And then once you die, your team dies.
Hey,
It's kind of just how it goes.
let's group up. Over here. Group up with me.
Hello there.
Over here.
What's up?
I think we had 2 other things too we could have used. We had our immortality field that we just never used too. That could have gotten you out of that pickle.
Nice to know you have my back.
Stop the payload.
Okay. Creative. Okay, so we heard they have sights.
Get into the field. Got the victory fever. Reloading. Stay alive.
There's something here that we could have done too.
Got the victory fever.
Back. I don't think I like your rotation here. You kind of go where you're going right now. It kind of takes you out of this fight. I'd probably rather actually see you drop down here, because dropping down here is actually going to give you the best sight lines on both your tank and your supports. So you can easily chuck a lamp over there to heal them, or and then focus on like regen burst heals for your Sigma or something. Might have been able to. I don't know if you would have been able to save both, but this probably would have netted you a better chance than, you know, where you're at. Because this only lets you save the Widow.
Got the victory fever. Reloading. Stay alive. Regenerate.
So it looks like positioning is the issue at the moment, from what I'm seeing. Here, your team's staggering. I probably would have rather just backed up and grouped up, because there's no way you guys were going to stop the payload.
Now you see me?
Not without your tank,
Now
at
you
least.
don't.
So maybe communicate that with your team. Here we can put a window down. Good. And we just don't, so... They popped, Kiriko ult. We haven't used any ults here either. Oh, there's that. Little bit messy. Still works out. I still think we should have used window earlier in that fight. Okay, we're just damaging. Okay, we got 2 picks. You're jumping into a Reinhardt. Yep. Okay, tricked out. Because they're not grouped up. Staggering. Yeah, window should be used when you guys, when it looks like the enemy team's committing to a fight. And what I mean by committing is, once it seems like if they end up, if you pop window, they can't just, like, easily get to safety by backing up. I'll try to find a good example of that, what I mean. Alright, so a good example would be right now if you popped window, because the Reinhardt can't just back up, because there's too much distance for him to cover backing up. But he also can't walk forward, because he can't walk past your window. So he's kind of like in this spot where his shield's just going to get absolutely melted, and then he might die, you know? So here would be a great spot for window, but it doesn't seem like we do that either, and they push past it. Nice. Yeah, and you've held on to this ult for a while. Because their support already has an ult, so we definitely could have fit a window somewhere in here. We haven't lost any fights without it, thankfully, but definitely something we could improve on against higher skilled characters that will get more value with their ultimates. Aim's doing fine. Up down, hit him with regen burst, get back up there. Okay, here you chase a kill when you probably shouldn't have. Looks like it's still good. I didn't like that chase kill just because the Juno kind of took herself out of the fight anyways. So you probably could have just spent the extra time killing your team rather than chasing the kill. We're all still good. I guess you guys have a good defense. It's just what? You guys struggle on the attack, I'm guessing? You guys probably just, like, don't group up for the attack. Widow, good drop.
It's go time.
Oh. Little sketchy because you did drop right into a Rhine, but still good. Good defense. Yeah, only thing I would say is window more, because I think I saw one window that entire defense.
Switching sides.
And if you're not gonna ult, you're not gonna win games.
Initiating match.
It was a good window, but there's definitely room that you could have probably used a window before, like way before that fight, and then you would have had your window for that fight too. So keep that in mind.
Ready
Another
for
day,
battle.
another battlefield.
I like your mask. I said I like your mask, dude.
Problem with games that you have so little to push to win, sometimes people get excited and just rush in instead of taking it slowly. Yeah,
Kids can surprise you.
that's usually a big thing. People are like, oh my gosh, it was such an easy defense, and then you,
also disappointing.
you get a little too cocky, you know? And then that can end up spewing disaster, so.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Oh,
Defend objective A.
yeah, I mean, that could have lowered the morale too if someone just got picked right there. Don't follow your Sojourn. What is this? Why are we following our Sojourn? It's fine. I was worried that your team was gonna all die because you weren't there for your Sojourn. There's the hook shot.
Completely healed.
Yeah, I mean, there's honestly not really a reason for you to be standing up where you are. Yes, you're getting poke out, but you're also vulnerable to snipes.
Enemy has a turret.
You could have easily just thrown out an immortality field to keep your team alive there, but you chose not to. Now we have to group up. You're gonna throw it there. You. We're still grouping up. Yeah, still dead. Looks like your hog had a through there. I guess he got caught in a trap, but he wasn't even shooting or breathing. Taking a breather. Yeah, you guys just haven't grouped up yet. Still waiting on a group up. Still waiting on a group up. You could call, like, I know that they have a lot of spam in this area. You could easily call for your team to do a little flank angle over here. Not a bad idea. Because, yeah, I mean, with how much spam that their team has, going through this choke might not be the best idea. Also, to alleviate some pressure here, rather than holding onto your window so much, you could have easily just popped window here and made them forced to back up a little bit. Still trying to figure out where this window's going. Brother's in there by himself. still have a window. We 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 still have a window. We're going on a side quest. Ditching the main quest. We still have a window, and we didn't pop windows, so they killed both of our team because we went on a side quest and we died. The window is everything. You literally are throwing the game because you're not using your ult. Yeah, big side quest fail. NPCs died on the part. Hate to see it. Can we get an F in chat for the NPCs? Alright. I think the upsetting thing is you've had window for 2 Junkrat tires. And you're still using it. Like, everyone is lapping you on ult usage. And you're kind of just sitting here with a window. I get that it's cool having a shiny blue button at the bottom of your screen, but sometimes you gotta let that button go. Alright, yep. I don't think you were close. Oh, maybe you were. For the heals there. Still a window, by the way. Sigma just lapped us with his ult, and his ult is a tank ult, which is a lot longer to charge than your ult. There we go, on the window. Now imagine if we did this when it was a 3v3. And they had no ults. Oh, pesky pylon. That was a wasted regen burst. No one was low. Good regen burst now. Oh, there we go. Side quest mission. Side quest. Side quest. Who cares if the Sigma ults my team? Who cares? Side quest it. You're winning in numbers. You don't need to go on a side quest. If you're already up in the picks, you don't need a side quest. You should really only be side questing if you're not up in the picks. Like if it's a neutral fight. Because yeah, you going on side quest is like huge risk, and you being a support, you know, you dying is very your life is very valuable as a support. So you shouldn't be going out and doing your own side quest missions, because if you die, your team dies, and if you aren't focusing heals on your team's gonna die too, because Kiriko can't heal mass amount of groups like Bap can. Like, even this is like, what are you doing? Because your whole team's not grouped up here, and you're deciding to go for a super risky play. Now, luckily, the Junkrat side quest didn't work, but here's probably comes a window. Yeah, that's a fine window. Nice. Honestly, no one's looking at you. You probably could have stood still if you wanted to. Oh my. Alright, so that issue is you throw the emo field right into lava. I know it looks like there's not lava where that is, but you throw it right into the lava. Apparently that counts as lava. I'm not sure how, but it does. You probably could have even stood here, and you would have been fine, and with your immortality field too. But that's kind of just unfortunate that you went and threw it in lava, so it just dies immediately. Also, just because it's overtime doesn't mean you have to be on cart the whole time. You could have walked over to cart. You could have touched it and then stepped off of it. Because after you touch it in the last like 3 seconds, the last 3 seconds of the clock, if you touch the cart, it goes into overtime. And then that overtime tick will dwindle down for like 5 seconds or so. So you have like, if you touch within the last 3 seconds, you have another 5 seconds that someone else can touch. So you don't have to be on cart during that time. Like someone else can go, you just have to go give it a love tap. And then once you give it a love tap, go back to safety or something. Because you're a support, you can't die. If you die, your team has no sustains, and then they just spam a bunch of stuff on cart and everyone dies. So, You guys almost have to like tag in, tag out when you guys are doing that, but as a support, you should be probably the last person to touch. If you have to touch, it's understandable, but give it a touch, back off, other people are gonna go touch it. Because now you're dead, there's no... Well, you didn't have Emort Field anyways, but yeah, I mean... One person had to be on cart and take the tire there. But yeah, overall, just looks like a lot of failed side quests. You were up in the numbers, so I don't know why exactly you thought it'd be a good idea to go out on a side quest, especially when you hear the enemy ultimates like Sigma ult on your team. You probably should have stayed with your team there and helped them out. You also never used your window a lot. I think I saw only 3. And this was a 15-minute game. So, in general, you know, we probably should have seen 3 or 4 per thing. So, there should have been, like, 6 or 7 ultimates, but I saw only 3. So, with that, window definitely needs to be used more.
You are looking as lovely as ever.
Dance streamer boy woo.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. 17 months. Oh, yeah. On a 17-month streak, too. Dang. Never missed it. More windows, less silly side quests. Yeah. I mean, overall, it looked good. The aim looked good. Looked like we were applying the good pressure. Like, none of that stuff seemed to need work. Positioning at the very beginning seemed a little strange, especially with those widow hook shots. Like, you probably should have realized if you're going against a sniper comp, maybe try to use cover more because they will headshot you. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it looked pretty good. Just needs more ults, because you can't win without your ults. Yeah. No, it's definitely good. And Moira side quests aren't really that great either. But like I said, side quests are great in the neutral. Don't try to do the side quests, if your team's already up in the numbers. Because if your team's already up in the numbers, you don't need to do any risky plays. You just need to do the safe play, because chances are the safe play is going to work. Probably like 70 to 80% of the time. Alright. We got one more Vod review. I believe it's a hazard player. We don't know what rank. I think I was told the rank.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Played maybe 4 games in total. Struggle to find value. So, but this is esports scrim, so it must be just a new hazard player that overall, I guess, would know how the game works.
Defend objective
Is my guess. Oh yeah, Bobby, you know I'm ready for D&D. Always. Okay. Alright, yeah, I guess we're just gonna see how it goes.
Examine all you like. It won't mend the harm you've done.
Alright, so we already know the statue pathing for King's Row, so that's good. Look, a little mist on the Lucio. I feel like our walls are I mean, pretty nice so far. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So there, you probably could have climbed the wall instead of just, like, using the jump. Could have vaulted the wall to maybe get yourself a little bit more of a jump on her. It just looks like a little bit of an overextension from you. I get why we wanted her to get her. But yeah, I think instead I would have just, like, I would have potentially walked over here, climbed this, just so I could leap over here. And then maybe... Maybe instead of where you're going, which is back this way, you could have dropped down, grabbed the Mega, and got out. Just a little bit of difficult timing, though, because you, yeah, you did just, like... Well, I guess you saw it. Yeah, you see the wall, so you could have easily just been like, alright, cool, I'm gonna drop down backwards. And grabbed it. Yeah, I'm assuming that this is the hazard we're trying to be. It easily could be the other one, I guess. I'm very upsetting if this is not the hazard. Oh yeah.
I am ungrateful.
Downpour's nearly rolling in.
Yeah, maybe where's the blue one? Yeah, I mean, maybe this small corridor is not the best place to be. I also don't necessarily like the dive target on the Lucio. I probably instead would have chose Diana to dive. Mainly because you're just going to have an easier time diving an Ana than a Lucio. Also, she's a little bit more isolated. The hazard can't get to her quite as quick, neither can the Genji, so you'll probably be able to actually confirm this kill better. Lucio does end up beating, which does give her it anyways, but there could have been a window of opportunity where you actually did get the Ana. Yeah, diving the Lucio, like, he's already so far away from you at that point. And then I get why you decide to hide here, because you do get antsied. But after this, you should realize that the Ana, we can still hear the Ana. should be able to realize that she's still right side. Her whole team is away from her, so we could go back on diving the Ana. Should be able to get a nice pick on the Ana, and then hopefully with her being down, your team's going to be able to, you know, you're able to maybe even rotate out this way and get back to your team, or do something else. Instead, you kind of just play here and you don't know what to do, and this is why they eventually start to collapse on you, because you're stuck in here and Lucio's just booping you to keep you in there.
Well, fresh start. All's charging. Looking like rain.
Yeah, same deal. You're only going forward with it, and it gets low, but after this nade, as well as you getting slept, you probably, instead of going more forward, where your team cannot follow you, you should either go back, or maybe dive the Ana, because your Ana might be able to see you diving this Ana. And Ana just used a nade and just used a sleep, so we know she has nothing to stop us. And even so, you're going to be a little bit more isolated diving the Ana. But here, you're just diving the enemy team, and you're not really doing anything about the Ana. So the Ana's just kind of sitting there uncontested.
Get ready for a downpour.
Yeah, we're just like, we just like don't see the Ana there at all. But she's the reason these people are living so much. Dive the Ana, please, please. Dive the Ana, not the not. You see, everyone else is so mobile that you can't just keep diving, you know, these mobile characters. You need to be focusing that Ana. And if you never end up diving this Ana, she's gonna be able to do very well for herself uncontested. I mean, the Ana has double, maybe it's not. There we go. There we just missed up a bunch of aim and abilities on the Lucio. Probably just need to take our time with that a little bit more, rather than rush it so much. You already got the Ana pick, so you don't have to be crazy fiending for a kill or anything like that. Couple missed opportunities, couple ultimates.
Pain's nothing to me.
Get the payload on its way.
I don't know if we meant to dive the Ana on that engage anyways. That seemed a little accidental, to be honest. Yep, here we go, diving again, G. There we go. Honestly, I'd probably just put him inside here. I'd probably just block him in there. There you go. Hurts. No.
ready.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this goes... I mean, maybe you guys end up turning it around. But I'm gonna say this goes south because you decide to fight, in this area here. Fighting in this area here kind of takes you out of your team's sightlines. And also, this is a big moment of spam. So playing here is actually probably going to be on the better side for you. Even if you're playing here, you know? But playing here, there's just like so much stuff and so many safe angles that the enemy team can take on you. It's just really not worth it. Not to mention you get blocked off here. And so now you're kind of isolated. So they have to use life grip on you early. And once they pull you out of the fight, you have to engage on resources to get back forward. On top of that, yeah, they're able to just like push in now because you have no abilities. So you're forced out. The Genji does get your Lucio, or does get their Lucio, but you're still isolated. No team. And their whole team's just over here bunkering up, so they're able to hold it. On defense, you want to value your life more than trying to confirm kills and whatnot. Your entire purpose is to stall the point out, not you know, necessarily get all the flashy kills. Here, you kind of dive in without your team. Team didn't have any sightlines on you whatsoever, and you just ran in. And that was on the third tick. So you had probably like another 10 seconds that you could have done something more. Then just you pop all your abilities on point and see what happened.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Well, fresh start.
Let's put a stop to that payload.
Ooh, aim is a little sloppy there. Yeah, still trying to group up. This is probably the corner we're going to hold. Nice. Probably one of the cleanest kills I saw. Yeah, you can't get up there. I'm surprised you actually back off there. That's a good choke, and I don't know why we'd back off the choke. I mean, it's very hard for people to get through that choke. Like, if they're up in the window, you can dive the window. But this is free space that you're giving the enemy. And the sight lines you have here just aren't really that great. If you played the choke, they probably would have been forced to use these ults off cart, and then your team can just kite back to cart, and you're probably safe. The issue here, though, is you give them the space so they're able to come in here. And now with how much close quarters this is, Genji's going to be able to dash on you guys. You guys can back off, but at that point, they're still pushing cart. So it's kind of a lost fight for you anyways. They did pop 3 ults. But at least they got that going for them. So yeah, I would have rather just poke up and held that choke a little bit more. Ana's gonna be the diveable one here. And we go for a Lucio who can boop us. We get the Lucio. Ana's left side. Ana's left side. And we don't care about the Ana left side. There we go. Yeah, except here you're like overextended a bunch. You don't need to be that far off, because you know you're going to get walled off by the hazard. Not sure what exactly happened there, to be honest. Go back to it. Yeah, maybe the block wasn't necessarily the best thing to use. Oh, did he? There's no way he reflected that, right? No, he didn't. Yeah, they just had a better Genji, to be honest. But yeah, I would have probably just walled the hazard off inside the room to give you more stuff to do to pressure the other team. Diving the Genji probably would have been a smarter play, because here you're just kind of diving yourself in with your team not there to really be ready for you. If you dive in on the Genji that's dove your team, it's a counter dive where you're going to be able to, you know, potentially confirm a kill on the Genji, if not peel for your team that's getting dove by him. Wall the spawn door, nice. Here you don't have a team, so don't use your ult. Let's see what happens on the Gree group.
30 seconds. Hunting them down.
Sometimes we look a little lost, like we don't know who to dive. Assuming that's the end of it, right?
Round 2.
You guys don't do another one.
Ready for battle.
Yeah. So, in general, I'd say it seems like you don't necessarily have a plan for who you're diving. So you should probably try to go through more of a plan with that. You almost seem to like forget where your team's sightlines are or what they're looking at, so you're overextending yourself a lot on these dives. You're almost only diving forward. I don't see you dive backwards much. Whether it's to escape or to counter dive or anything like that. And that's probably it. Probably what I have for you. I don't know what your obsession is with the Lucio. He is just going to boop you back, so I just would recommend not diving Lucio. Heroes like Winston are a little easier on diving Lucios just because you can shield the boop so you can't get booped. But in general, Lucio is probably not the most diveable target. In general with dives, it's usually good to put a tier list in your mind on people that you should dive and people that you shouldn't. Ana being like one of the #1 people to dive. Lucio being one of the last people to dive. But yeah, that's what I got. I hope the review helps. And happy climbing, as always. And with that, that's going to be the end of stream chat. I know just under an hour, but thanks everyone for coming out to another DHan stream. And I will see you guys all in another one. Possibly in 2 days. Probably not tomorrow, but we'll see. Thank you, everyone. And as always, happy climbing.